Terry from Sport, welcome to the channel. Today's video is half a reaction video about an email I got that might sort of like not really know what I'm talking about. Half video about more tips and details about doing the heavy club front swings, front circles, and half video about doing kettlebell cleans, how it relates to the cleans, economy of motion, and so on. Yep, 3 halves. That's a lot of value for your money, so let's go and get into it. So I received an email this weekend over the video about the front circles that I posted last week. It was very civilized, very nice, but it sort of like made me realize that either I've omitted some details that forced the person to struggle about what I was saying, or that maybe I was just like full of crap, really, when it comes to heavy clubs. So in any case, it raises some good points that I thought, anybody could benefit and learn a bit more about heavy Indian clubs in general, and the way we teach things at RX Sport. So I'm going to read it to you. Hey mate, I love your product, but I think you have to make a big difference between the mobilization part and the heavy clubs. In your today's video about front circles, he doesn't speak English as first language, just like me. Your left arm is always 90 degrees. You make no difference in right, left, inside, outside circles. It's more like doing only inside and outside circles with your left arm. Right. So, does my arm stay bent at 90 degrees? I've got screenshots. It doesn't. So, already we can just move on. Like I tried to explain in the video, you can do the front circles with bent arms or straight arms. And bent arms, you would specifically do it if you've got a long club so you don't whack your toes. Now, it's going to be kind of like really intensive for your biceps when you're doing the front circles with the bent arms, right? So in any case, you need to build up the weight and the volume gradually. That's good. Because most of the club exercise, the big clubs anyway, you sort of like tend to use the whole body, so there's a lot of leg drive happening, and most of the stress on the arms are going to be like on the triceps. So, adding biceps into it, it kind of makes sense, especially again, if we look at clubs coming from a martial background. Next point in the mail was, and if you think about what is the leading hand, it should always be the top hand. Or else. Imagine a mace belt 360, it's even more easy to understand which hand is supporting the other because of leverage. Now, should the leading hand always be the top hand? Top or bottom? Really, it doesn't matter that much at all. Harbert, the Flowing Dutchman, made a video about this, so I'll leave a description or a link to that video in the video description. You can check it out and take, his experience and knowledge. Now the guy's, been traveled in India and so on, so lots of experience, also been training with the steel mace community on it and so on. So he's got good input in there. Now, it's true that using the top hand as your lead hand, you reduce the leverage a bit by having the top hand, if you go into a, back circle, let's say. Instead of being out here, well, you're closer, okay? So you're holding a shorter club, but really, we're talking about 10 centimeters and so on, okay? So unless you're handling a very, very heavy club like they do in Pakistan with the Mangli club, I don't think it's gonna make really that much of a difference. If you can't perform swings in either direction with the same grip, you've got bigger issues, mobility, coordination, I don't know. Mace swingers in India, they mainly do the 10-2 movement, right? Which is basically a back circle from side to side, so not going fully around in the same direction, they're just going in one direction, boom, they reverse and they pull it. No problem, okay? You can do it. So the idea that you have to balance 100% of the things that you do, in my opinion, is a bit overrated, okay? Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. So yes, we use the bottom hand as the leading hand in our system. Really, it's not the end of the world. It's just a convention to make it easy for people to learn and remember as well, okay? So it doesn't change that you've got one hand on the club or two hands on the club. If I say Inner circle, that hand here that you cross the midline, that's your inner circle. So there's no confusion. You don't have to switch because suddenly you're holding two hands on the club. It stays the same. It's simple. It works. Next point. You can do it with your form for the circles. It's only 6 kilo. But can you do it with 10 kilos, 15 kilos, or even more? I don't think you can. It would crush your wrists. So, my club is only 6 kilo. Yeah, most of the times I train with a club between 6 to 10 kilos. I don't really train heavier than that. But in the video, I actually demonstrate with the Palamute XL that I'm doing the front circles with the bent arms, and I say it's lowered to 12 kilos. It is. I mean, I don't have to put my club on the scale to show it's 12 kilos. You either believe me or you don't. I don't really give a shit. But, just to prove my point, I've loaded the Palamute XL, the Palamute Gamma to 21 kilos, so it's 20 kilos of plate and 1 kilo for the handle, and I can do the same technique for the front circles. No crushed wrists. Maybe crushed ego. Next point. Me and a lot of other customers brought you awesome products because of Mark. I think his execution of the single or two-hand single club execution is much more natural and historical. He was kind enough to include the proper form for doing the two-hand circle. So, order position, rotate body to center line. Boom, push until two arms lock out. Tip the hands, swing all the way across. Pull elbows into the hips. Boom, return to center line. With the better form, you can easy go, even for single arm circles, for 8 to 12 kilos for 30 minutes. Easy. Wow, you want to do front circles 30 minutes? I don't. Been there, done that. So, correct execution. Since club swinging is so old, it's really hard to figure what is the correct form, the natural form, the historical form. It's been passed on, so you know how it goes. When you tell the story and you tell to your body and your body tells blah blah blah. At the end, after 20 times, it's not really the same story as the original one. So that's so much for tradition. Now, every culture swings clubs of different designs. You look at the Indian joris, the Persian meals, the Kalakatai from southern India. They call the exercise different names. And they execute the exercise in different name. We can already look at the order position, for the Persian Zurkane, your arm has to be 120 degrees so you don't stress the joints. The metal club guys say it has to be 90 degrees. Now you look at some of the southern India and they might have the arm higher up. It's really hard to say what is right and what is not. So what feels natural for you as well will feel maybe not so natural for someone else. So that's why it's a good idea to get a broad overview and perspective and try different approaches, see how you like it. If you don't like it, just move on. The push-pull technique, it works. It's valid. I mean, we're basically doing the front pendulum, boom, boom, and then we're pulling heavily, okay? It works. I've used it in 2008 when I started back, with metal clubs. That was the beginning. I got wiser and learned a few things along the way. Now, obviously, pendulums are a legit exercise, right? I just don't see the point of using that very exact same pattern when doing front circles. That is, unless I really want to accentuate that eccentric, that pull. that part of the swing, you know, much like you can do with the kettlebell clean. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can do the kettlebell clean. You've got the very basic stuff. You'll see a lot of new beginners doing that with that really extended leverage. And then I'm going to show you how we do it in kettlebell sport. Now, I've got an official IKMF world record for 2 hours of one arm clean and jerk with 16 kilos. Okay? You could say it's tried and tested. Since club have this martial aspect, you know, they come from the warrior tradition, okay? Just ask yourself something. Does it really make sense for you to, you know, extend the leverage that far out so you counterbalance? Yeah, it can be an exercise in itself. I'm not saying it's totally wrong, right? Just does it make sense, okay? If I've got somebody attacking me out there, would you go out there to block the blow? Or would you just stay there and go, gotcha, right? The guy missed me by a meter at least. So if I want to protect myself with my weapon, I keep it in front of my body where I can sort of like, boom, you know, I'm shielding my person. I'm not shielding, maybe I've got a best friend here or, you know, a dog or something. Maybe I'll do that. But in the other cases, I don't really do that, okay? I don't need to push myself fully off balance, okay? You've got really heavy implements there. The more you have to lean away to maintain the balance in the system, okay? So that brings us to the other point. Depending on the weight of the club you're working with, you can have more or less sideways displacements, you know, to maintain the body as one unit in balance. So for me, doing this, boom, it's really a waste of my energy, you know, it's the opposite of efficient technique and economy of movement. So for a warrior, you know, doing all these extra moves, it doesn't make sense. And then we have the full swing, you know, the meal, whatever name you can find for it, okay? Where you link the front circle into a back circle. You know, are you going to go boom, boom, or are you just going to keep it flowing from one into the next? So yeah, I reconnect my elbow here and I just extend the arm. Yes, there is push and pull. It's just not super, you know, overboard demonstration of that push and pull. I just get basically that push and pull comes from just destabilizing the club. Okay, boom, that's it. Push, rotate, pull, and go in with the flow. So it goes on to say, I can't imagine doing your technique for a few minutes, you know, without the push and pull with heavy clubs. I've started the Kettlebell journey early this year with a friend, got my 2 palabendal TG. Thanks for your purchase, great club. Last week and upgraded with lead shots and sand. The mobilization part is awesome, but the correct heavy club system is equally awesome for everybody. Let me hear your thoughts about that. Kind regards, and so on. So, friendly email. I hope I wasn't too harsh in my reply. You know, I've got a lot of experience teaching. I've got my own personal practice. I've used club swinging already you know, 2010 with badminton athletes. I went on to do workshops. I went on to do weekly classes, fitness centers, totally new beginners. So I've got really a wide base, you know, to build my system and explain the way I do. Now, again, you know, if you think it's wrong, you can leave us a comment. Just go and find someone else, you know, until you're satisfied. Not everybody can agree to my message. I don't try to convince everybody that I'm right. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments, you know, about which kind of like technique you prefer or style you prefer or any guru that you follow on YouTube.